Hey, my friends, ready to crack open the Proverbs again and continue to pursue godly wisdom together? When we looked at Proverbs 3 yesterday, we kind of settled on verse 19. The Lord by wisdom founded the earth. And we kind of were looking at the idea that there is a kind of wisdom that is a foundational truth in the universe, in the same way there are physical truths that are immutable, that just don't change. The laws of thermodynamics and the way gravity and time and light and all of that stuff work together, and there are just things that the more you know about the physical world, the more able you are going to be to exist in the physical world and thrive. And in the same way, Proverbs would say, look, there are also immutable wisdom laws at the foundation of the world. It really is better to love rather than to be selfish. It really is better to serve and be kind than it is to think of yourself first and foremost. Righteousness is better than self-righteousness. This godly wisdom, as we pursue the character of God, we are not just pursuing one theological bent, one philosophical bent. Rather, we are pursuing the truths that are at the foundation of the universe. And you see some of these pop up. This is why you see some of these pop up in lots of different philosophies, right? In the golden rule is kind of ubiquitous in the ancient world. Like, do to other people what you want done to you. Don't do to other people what you don't want done to you. That's something that comes up a lot. Some kind of idea of love kind of comes up a lot, or some idea of sacrifice. Like these are things that come up in lots of different philosophies. The idea that there is a God or gods, like these are ideas that come up in a lot of different theology. So the question is, well, which one of these is true? And this is maybe in the same way that we would recognize the more I understand about the stock market, the more able I'm going to be to thrive in it. If I'm not just throwing darts at a board and picking stocks at random times, if I study, if I understand the way things work, if I stay within the framework of what I know to be true, I'm going to be more successful in that area. If I understand music more, I'm going to be a better guitar player. If I'm not just picking it up and going, but if I understand how the circle of fifths works and what's a minor relative to its major scale and all of these things, I'm just going to be more able to survive. And the same is true with morality. The same is true with wisdom. And that's one of the big ideas that Judaism and then Christianity brought to the world, is that there is one true source of wisdom, and it's not me. See, many people would say, to thine own self be true. They would say that is the ultimate truth in the world, that if you will be true to yourself, that is the best way you are going to live. Well, the scriptures would say quite the opposite of that. If you want to live the best life, die to yourself, follow Christ, have him be formed in you, get to the point where you can rightly say, I no longer live, but Christ lives in me. I don't live for myself. I live to worship God for the glory of God, to serve other people, and that's the best life. A couple of different models, ways to think. And so with the foundational wisdom that is at the foundation of time and space, in the same way that physical laws are at the foundation of time and space, we'll pick up in verse 21. We'll see how far we get. I'd love to get several verses in, but we might just get to a few. So verse 21 of Proverbs 3 says this: My son, do not lose sight of these. Keep sound wisdom and discretion, and they will be life for your soul and adornment for your neck. So don't lose sight of these. Don't lose sight of what? Well, probably we're going back to the beginning of this chapter. And again, not trusting in our own understanding, rather trusting in God. Keep sight of that. It's not okay to just know it. You got to keep your eyes fixed on it. Every day, this is how we live. Not by our own understanding, but rather by trusting God. and they will be life for your soul and adornment for your neck. This is going to benefit your life. In the same way that if you were wearing adornment on your neck, you walked around with some pricey bit of gold around your neck and people could see it and go, oh man, that guy's figured stuff out. That's going to be true of wisdom too. Then you will walk on your way securely and your foot will not stumble. Hey guys, I'm not a prophet, but I can tell you something. There's going to be tragedy ahead for every single one of us. There's going to be personal tragedy. There's going to be national tragedy. There's going to be wars, rumors of wars. There's going to be illness. There's going to be all kinds of stuff. And the question really, that's when these things matter. Okay, when we're just sitting around at a coffee shop and thinking deep thoughts and saying, well, there's this way to look at the world and there's this way to look at the world. And you can be true to yourself or you can not trust in yourself and instead trust in God. Those are fine, like academic, in your dorm room at 2 a.m. kind of conversations, and you can have those. But when it really matters is when tragedy strikes, is when the world's not going your way, and you say, "Oh my gosh, is this philosophy? Does it stand up when trauma hits?" And the Proverbs would say, "Look, don't trust in yourself, not be afraid. When you lie down, your sleep will be sweet." So people who trust in God, they're just more at peace. Then when they lie down, their sleep is sweet. And, I've seen this to be true. And I don't know if you've observed this as well, but when I look at people whose faith is just fully grounded, not in themselves, but in Christ, there is a peace in the middle of tragedy. There's a trust. There's this deep understanding that the worst thing that could ever happen to me is that I would die. And at that point, I'm face to face with Christ. It's not that bad. There's this deep understanding that things are going to be okay. There's this deep understanding that God's in charge. Even if I don't understand all of the nuts and bolts along the way, I trust who is in charge. And this does give us a peace in our heart that just doesn't exist if I'm the center of the universe. Man, if I'm the center of the universe and I am counting on it being my wisdom and my understanding to get me through hard times, I'm going to find the limit of that. I just am. I don't have unlimited resources. I don't have unlimited emotional resources. So this idea of trusting in God with all your heart being the foundation of wisdom, this is what the world was built on. This understanding, when you sleep, you'll be more comfortable. You'll sleep better. And do not be afraid of sudden terror or the ruin of the wicked when it comes. Not if it comes, but when it comes. But see, for those of us that build our lives on godly wisdom, we don't have to fear even sudden terror. Yeah, I anticipate there's going to be things in my life in the future that I'm not going to like. Now, I can either live my life trying to insulate myself from everything to the point where tragedy doesn't strike, or I can understand, like, I'm going to live a wise life. I'm not going to seek tragedy out, but when tragedy comes, I'm going to be okay. God will still be good. He'll still be on the throne. I still won't be the center of the universe. Verse 26, for the Lord will be your confidence. I mean, isn't that the whole game? Where is my confidence when terror strikes? When tragedy strikes, where is it that I'm going to look? Is it going to be me? Is it going to be my understanding? Is it going to be the relationships I've built, the reputation I've built, the wealth I've built? Or is it going to be, look, when that time comes, my confidence is going to be in the Lord. For the Lord will be your confidence, and he will keep your foot from being caught. Why don't we stop there? Because instruction is going to follow. If this is how you live, then this is how you'll act. But can I again just ask you to spend your day thinking about this? What is the foundation of your moral understanding? Are you the center of morality? Are you the center of wisdom? Or is wisdom something that exists outside of you? You know, Jesus says, the scriptures say about Jesus says that he is the truth. So that means that the truth is knowable. It's not lurking out there in the darkness somewhere. No, I can know the truth like I can know a person. But it also means that the truth, that true wisdom, the thing on which the foundation of the earth was built, is external from me. So I never am the source of wisdom, but rather, as I lean not on my own understanding and trust in God with all my heart, then I can come to the place where I can say, look, I don't plan on being my own source of understanding or wisdom, but I am confident in my ability to lean on Christ, to lean on the wisdom that the world was founded on. And while I don't know everything, I do know Him. And that gives me confidence. It helps me sleep better. It gives me peace in my heart. And it makes me know that when sudden terror comes, I don't have to be afraid. Rather, I can be confident. Hey, I don't know what you're dealing with right now, but lean into the confidence that comes only from understanding